welcome to the Scott Show, and what a great night we had at First Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as TCW Lightning Heat has debuted here in Minnesota at the First Avenue nightclub, and what a great show we had. I'm going to run down the card for you guys. It was awesome, and there were a lot of cool things that happened, including the continuation of our TCW World Championship tournaments. We had some qualifiers tonight, and of course we had the main event, Texas Thunder and Steve Thunder Bedlam against George Sony and Bobby Slapjacks. What a match that was. But we start out with the first match of the night, as we had a tag team qualifying match between Garth Diamond and Gootron, the man from Maryland, Gootron, against the Mass Profits from Salt Lake City, Utah. And the Mass Profits win the match as Profit number 1 pins Garth Diamond. Gootron looking for a good partner, and Garth Diamond just got the crap beat out of him by the Mass Profits, so Gootron's still looking for that partner. Hopefully he'll find one soon. Alright, and so the Mass Profits will move on to the World Tag Team Title Tournament. The semifinals are being set up as we speak, and I will give you more details on that as the weeks progress. Cookie Lopez, who is already qualified for the tournament for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, defeated Toshito tonight. Toshito came in, tried to kick Cookie Lopez's face off, and just couldn't get the job done, even though it was a high-class match, 12 minutes of flying and strong style. Toshito is a really great wrestler and a guy to watch. In fact, he's got a junior heavyweight title opportunity in the tournament coming up here, but Cookie Lopez just too strong for him and took him out with the pin and the win. In a women's tag team match, the Omlin sisters, Carrie and Michelle, two terribly tough girls, fought against Jennifer French and Michelle Blake. Now, Jennifer French and Michelle Blake, of course, they're not sisters, but they actually went to the same school, Grand Valley State University in Michigan. Just little heads up there, so they are great friends, and they actually defeated tonight the Omlin sisters, Carrie and Michelle, as Michelle pinned Michelle in kind of a little funny moment. Michelle Blake pinned Michelle Omlin to win the match and get the go to the pay window, as they used to say. In the tag team qualifying tournament, Cash and Money, the guys from Credit Line defeated Tag 360, and Credit Line will move on in the tag team qualifying tournament as well. And again, we will give the details to how the tournaments will be set up. But we do know that the finale will be on the 26th of November at TCW Party Time, as we will name all the new world champions and finish the tournaments off. The the heavyweight qualifier came next, as Isaiah Clifford faced off against Mr. Donald Moneypants, and they continued their feud from back in the day. These guys were scrapping, punching each other. Donald Moneypants hit Isaiah Clifford with a foreign object. The ref did not see it. Isaiah Clifford still kicked out at 2 as they went on for 25 long minutes before Mr. Donald Moneypants won with a roll-up, and he pulled the tights. And so Mr. Donald Moneypants is moving on in the heavyweight qualifier. And coming out to greet him and to celebrate with him on his win was none other than the team that won before, Credit Line. So Mr. Donald Moneypants is paid off Cash and Money to be his bodyguards in a fantastic move for Mr. Donald Moneypants. I mean, if you're going to have two big guys like credit line, take care of ya. That works out. In a women's qualifier match, the homegirl herself, Mary Firestorm, she is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, so she was greeted with a hero's welcome as she faced off against Phoenix, Arizona's own Rhiannon. And Rhiannon fought for her life against the much tougher, taller, stronger Mary Firestorm. But 5 minutes into the match, Mary Firestorm hit her with that big firebomb and wins the match and moves on in the women's tournament. And I will let you guys know how that gets set up as well. But Mary Firestorm is definitely one to watch and will be a great contender as we move forward in the tournament. In the junior heavyweight qualifier match, Ballistic ended up defeating Rick Olson with the C4 super kick. Rick Olson had no chance in this match whatsoever. Ballistic just brought his A game and just beat up Rick Olson until there was no more to do. So Ballistic moves on after the C4 super kick, which is probably one of the most devastating super kicks I've ever seen. And Ballistic is definitely one of my favorite junior heavyweights in this tournament so far. Women's qualifying match, Candace Apple against Daisy Fields. Now, Candace Apple is a fantastic wrestler. As we saw last week, she won her match. Candace Apple defeated, I believe, Sarah Slutcake, if I'm correct. But Daisy Fields gave her the fight of her life. Candace Apple wins, but Candace Apple did not see what happened. Julia Collins came in and hit Daisy Fields over the head while she was laying down on the ground, hit her with a kick, and Julia Collins gave Candace Apple the win, and Candace Apple did not see it happen. And we're going to have Daisy Field and Julia Collins on Saturday night. Now let me just check this for you guys to make sure it is Saturday night. Saturday the 28th. It's going to be from the Fried Chicken Stand in beautiful Godley, Texas. We're going to have, and actually I apologize, we're going to have Julia Collins in a women's qualifier match. But we're going to have Daisy Field and Julia Collins down the road. You cannot have interference like that in TCW fantasy wrestling. Candace Apple she gets the pin and the win. We're going to give the referee the decision. But still, can't have interference like that. A junior heavyweight qualifier, we have Carolina Chris and Hutch Hardy Finn. Hutch Hardy Finn wins with the top rope twist of fate onto Carolina Chris as Hutch Hardy Finn moves on in the match in the junior heavyweight deal. Now, in a hardcore match, we had a steel cage match. We had Bloodbath McGrath against the hooded inmate, the guy from the Texas State Penitentiary. And folks, it was a bloody affair. To call his name Bloodbath is definitely his name for a reason. The guy bled like a stuck pig as the hooded inmate hit him with everything he had, threw him against the cage, and he hit the pipe in the middle, busted his head open. If the referee was in there, they would have had to call it. Unfortunately, it was a hardcore match, and the hooded inmate wins by escaping the cage after Bloodbath McGrath could no longer move. TCW officials have named the hooded inmate the number one person to go on to TCW Party Time and go for the World Hardcore Champion in a fatal four-way, which we will announce more very soon. But the hooded inmate is number one and going in there as we speak. 2 more matches to go, folks. We had in the heavyweight qualifying match the 400-pound Blueberry bring it to Maniac Mike Smith. As Mike Smith, he has a great, he wrestles very, very good. He knows his amateur wrestling, but he just could not handle the 400-pound blueberry of a man called Blueberry, and he ends up winning the match and moving forward in the heavyweight title tournament. And in the last match, Bedlam faced off against George Stoney and Bobby Slapjacks. Bobby Slapjacks had a great match. It was a really, really good match, but he kicked George Stoney with a low blow, and Steve and Texas Thunder pinned him. Bobby Slapjacks left, so we are going to have a George Stoney and Bobby Slapjacks match. However, Bobby Slapjack still has some problems with Steve Thunder as well, as he interrupted him and cost him his heavyweight qualifier, and now he's out of the world title tournament. So we got a lot of problems there in that main event picture, as Steve Thunder pins George Stoney after Bobby Slapjacks turns on him, and George Stoney needs to find himself a partner too. There is definitely some problems there. Bedlam moves on in the tag team title tournament. Folks, we are back here on Sunday night, the 28th, like the fried chicken stand in Godley, Texas. I'm going to have very soon all the announcements to the matches. We will have lots of really cool stuff happening, as we will have Toshito, who fought and lost to Cookie Lopez. We'll have his junior heavyweight qualifier match against Farmer Bob, and we will have more matches as we go along. So for TCW Fantasy Wrestling, all the wonderful people that are involved with it, for the commish, and for everyone else, like I said, who is involved in every way, the wrestlers and everything else, this is your the owner of TCW Fantasy Wrestling, the CEO, Scott, and thank you for listening to the TCW Lightning Heat from Minneapolis, Minnesota, 1st Avenue. We'll be back on Sunday night, the 28th. I will have a preview show for you guys on Friday, and we'll be at the Fried Chicken Stand in beautiful Godley, Texas. So check us out. You guys have a great rest of the day, and Maestro, kick our tune.